morning here on the second day of our fall season. And welcome to all of you tuning in today's live stream episode of Serving Veterans Who Served Us. And by the way, there's many of you veterans who have served us because some of us either could not, didn't qualify, and or a short list of other reasons. So first thing first, thank you for your service. Today, for those of you who have watched previous episodes today, my co-host last minute had a family emergency. So Jason, a quick shout out to you. Jason Hinsley, take care of your family. We will see you back with us in the next episode when they get scheduled 4 weeks out. All of that being said, we do have a guest, a recurring guest. Why? Because this friend of mine, this guest, her name is Debbie Jackson. She's wonderful because she can absolutely speak to some of the things that matter for veterans, both at a personal level and also at a professional level. So with all of that said, let me welcome Debbie into the conversation. And you know what? Because today is a Monday, everyone. It kind of feels like a Monday to me. Let me whisper to you why. Yours truly, I had a long weekend. I had a family wedding on Saturday and a family wedding on Sunday. And well, with today's weather being kind of fall-like, yeah, Debbie's looking out as well. I don't know. It just feels like, okay, hey, we got to get back into the groove of things. So I'm going to bring in my posse, as I call them, to give Debbie a big warm welcome and applause to gear her up for today's conversation as a guest. So here we go. Yes, people. Yes. Give Debbie that rah, rah, rah. And let's welcome Debbie into the conversation.
Wow, that was exciting, Bill.
How you like that fan club of yours?
Yes, great fan club.
Yeah. We all need that on a Monday, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we all need that on the Monday. So Debbie, usually at this point, my co-host Jason, like I said, who couldn't be with us because of a family emergency, usually leads in with his professional, what I call leaning in, dropping what's happening with the local real estate market. So I'm going to lean in. And Debbie, if you want, you can play off of me. You can chime in. We'll make it the best we can without Jason in the room with us today. So my opinion is this: last Wednesday, bada bing, bada boom, mic drop. We all now know this. We all as consumers know this. The Fed, the central bank, reduced rates by 50 basis points. Now, as consumers, when we hear that, our immediate thought is, OMG, the time has come. Everything's going to get a little cheaper. And my honest answer to you professionally is, it's coming, but it's not hit yet. And the reason why is because the Fed reducing that so-called rate, 50 basis points, it does reduce the rate that banks, depository institutions, it does reduce their rate when they have to borrow money from the Fed. So yes, that's a nice benefit. It's something we need, but rolling down to Main Street and all of us consumers, it will take some time for that to flood our pockets with more savings, more money, et cetera, et cetera. At the same time, I will share this with you. Does that create an emotional shift for those of you who are selling real estate, for those of you who are buying real estate? My answer is yes, because I do see this happening. There's more inventory coming onto the market. I see that around me. Debbie is nodding as well. We see that around us. as far as neighbors, kind of, making that move to their next chapter. So I think the time has come. So for those of you who have been sitting on the sidelines, that emotional wall has cracked open for you. Now the hard part is, you have to work through those first 2 to 3 next steps in front of you to make what you deem important to be a reality now. So Debbie, putting you on the spot, I'll answer after you. Putting you on the spot, through your life events, have you bought or sold real estate because of you try to time the market? Can you speak to that?
Actually, I had to buy 3 different houses and it was dependent on timing.
Yeah.
But I had a little bit of time with selling the last house I did sell, and it was after the crash of '08.
Yeah.
So I was waiting as long as I could. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, good. You had that power to do so. Others sometimes don't, right? They need to sell
Right.
in order to buy. So
Right.
so what I think I'm hearing from you is you went through those life event moves because of the timing of having to do so, not always trying to time it with the peaks and valleys of economic stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Me too. In as much as we want to control everything, as many people close to me have said to me, well, you can only control the things that you can control.
Right.
All right. Let's now move our conversation to this other topic, which is really what you see in our episode frame, right? Serving veterans who served us. And I think I know this. Veterans, while they are, of course, that segment of consumers who have given and gave to benefit the rest of us, they also work through their life events as well. And, the life events of real estate are, those 5 Ds, right? I'll drop in the first 3. Diamonds, diapers, and maybe diplomas. Debbie's grinning and laughing like, yeah, I know those. We all go through them, veterans as well. So one of the things I think I know is usually that third D, diploma or some upgrade to their career and income, is usually a telltale sign for a real estate move. Right, Debbie?
Yes.
Yeah. So first thing first, do you have family members? It doesn't have to be immediate. Do you have family members who served in the military forces?
I do, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
you know what that means. As for me as well, I've got a brother-in-law who served in the Navy, and I'll drop in our conversation very soon what he's now doing, because this ties back to why I'm asking Debbie to join us today as a guest. So Debbie, now that we've created that little bit of a backdrop, just teasing the audience a little bit, why don't you first lean in for those people who are seeing you for the first time in one of my podcast episodes? Why don't you share for us, what is it that you do to help veterans?
Yes. I work for a company called Sterling Engineering, and we have 2 sides to our business. We have an engineering side and a staffing side. So I have clients in the manufacturing space that are always looking for talent, and we supply the talent. So I work a lot with companies that actually prefer veterans or try to get veterans to come on board and work for their company. So we're a women-owned business, and we do a lot with different types of staffing, manufacturing companies, everything from operators all the way up to someone that is a director of manufacturing, everything in between.
So here's what I think I know, because veterans, a couple of key attributes about them, right? They're very disciplined. They're a master at following a plan, executing a plan, good with their hands, right? Fixing stuff, as I call it. Would you agree that some of these are the very common professions that attract veterans. So let me rattle off a few. IT professionals.
Yes.
Yeah, they fix information systems that you and I as consumers or users sometimes break or whatever, right?
Yep.
What about professions in these titles or categories? People in logistics and supply chain.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good. They're very good at that.
Okay. Let's not forget, this applies to all of us, regardless of where you live. First responders, right? The police professionals, fire professionals, medics, medical professionals. So let's now go back to what you shared with our audience today, Debbie. That is the manufacturing industry. Let me ask, what appeals to the manufacturing industry as far as veterans? Is it for those reasons that I dropped or more?
Yes, those are definitely some. And then the other two that I was thinking of, well, definitely is their training, because they've got strict training. So they've gone to that. And you mentioned discipline, but they follow orders and they're open to change. Things change on a dime in the service. So same thing with manufacturing. They get a PO in and then they got 100 million of these things to make, and you gotta figure it out.
That's true. That you hit it right on the head. They follow orders. They know that their orders can change at the last minute, and there's that chain of command where, from the leadership perspective, it's all about doing the necessary right thing because of a bigger vision. So let's talk about, from your experience in the business that you're in, can you share with us some unique manufacturing industries that are really wanting to attract and embrace veterans? Like, what do they manufacture, first of all?
Well, one big one is Fermilab. I'm sure some of you heard about that. That is, they have telescopes and they do a lot of really cool things there. So Fermilab is a big one, and they're a government facility. And then another one is Abbott and AbbVie.
Oh, wow.
They do a lot with maintaining utilities and focus. They do petrochemicals. So they're a big one, and they're here locally in Vernon Hills area. We have another company called S&C Electric that we work with. That is our longest standing client, and they do everything electrical. So again, military does a lot with electrical. They do a lot with controls. They do a lot with those types of technologies that a lot of people don't have the skill sets. And then, just as a side note, we personally partner with the Great Lakes Naval Base, and we work closely with the Navy because of a lot of our clients. We are in aerospace and defense.
Wow, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
So therefore, like a lot of government defense contractors that make
Yes.
the parts, the widgets, and the systems that go into, no surprise, people protecting all of us.
Correct. Yep.
Do you see, putting you on the spot here, do you see, as far as veterans, are there an equal percentage of male veterans versus female? Do you see any trend changes with that?
I mean, there are definitely more women than there used to be in the past. It seems though here we see more male than women.
Okay. All right. Good. So as we now kind of given all of you audience members a snapshot of, who's hiring, who's embracing, who's attracting veterans. If you know someone in your family, much like what Debbie and I mentioned to you, who's looking for either a career change, maybe wanting to embrace an opportunity that really maximizes all of their skills from the military forces, how can you get in touch with Debbie? Real simple. Let me bring up her business URL website so that you can look at it. And if you need to at this moment, either jot it down real quick. The other choice is, of course, just look for the one and only Debbie Jackson on social media. If you are having a hard time doing that, reach out to me toward the end of this episode, we'll share with you an immediate way of how you can start a conversation with me and Jason Hinsley so that we can connect you to Debbie. So Debbie, let's now wrap up our episode today. We're going to talk about systems, right? Because we touched on veterans are great at like creating systems, managing through systems, fixing systems. We're gonna pivot a little bit and talk about major home systems, okay? And because you, like me, well, you know, we've been around the sun several times, so there's probably multiple properties that we've bought, we've bought, sold, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
I'd like to engage you in a game of over or under. Here we go, audience members. See, we try to keep it light, but we try to make it informative for you. So over or under. So I'm going to throw at you at least 3 major home system mechanicals. And I want you to drop in, you could, you know, your opinion. Bill, I think it's over that number or it's under. So here we go. First system, big one, important one. It's to mitigate one of Mother Nature's most valuable resources. Sometimes we need a lot of it, like we did this weekend, which was rain. But sometimes in certain parts of the country, we don't need so much of it. And this first system is the sump pump. So Debbie, 5 years, that is the typical useful life of a sump pump. Would you say, in your opinion, it's over or under?
Over.
Yeah. How much over, you think?
Well, I've been in 2 different houses and I don't remember ever changing, and one was 20. So I don't know.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in 10 now. So
okay. Well, keep knocking on that sump pump. That's to the point it'll last another 20 years for you.
Yep.
I will give you, according to manufacturers' fine print notes in their warranty, and usually a sump pump will last you, as I'm told by my plumber, about 12 years.
Okay.
So as you're approaching that time frame, you should embrace the fact that you might want to think about replacing the sump pump. Okay. All right.
Got it.
All right. Let's now move to the next major home system mechanical device, the HVAC system, the system that keeps us warm as we're going to flip into winter, and also cool while we get these little Indian summer days. So over or under, here's the number, 15 years.
I would say over.
Yeah. Not much over, though. I will share this with you. It's about 18, 20 years when most of those systems you really have to thinking about replacing them. But you know why? This is important. I get the impression, Debbie, you and me, we're probably pretty diligent, as with all of our veterans who might be watching us. You and I are probably very diligent with what I call the annual maintenance, cleaning the air conditioner, the clean and check stuff, right?
Changing the filter,
number
one.
Changing the filter is the easiest thing that all of us consumers can and should do. So absolutely, great reminder there. Okay, one last system, right? It's all about, you know, veterans are protecting us. So back to the business of real estate. Here's the last one, a roof, over or under 20 years?
Over.
Over, really? How much?
25. Minimum, I think minimum 25.
25? Okay, all right. I think you're right. This is where most roofs, when they are installed properly, right? It all starts with doing something correctly, preparing the roof with the right, underlayment and all of that stuff. And when it's installed properly, it should last for a long time, barring major Mother Nature disasters.
Yeah, right.
So thank you, Debbie, for playing this game with me. in our audience today. So as we wrap up today's episode of Serving Veterans Who Served Us, let's start with what Debbie has shared with you. For those of you who are veterans who are looking for a move, not a real estate move yet, but maybe a career move, how can you get in touch with Debbie? As I mentioned to you earlier, simply hit this website. You'll get to, you'll get more information about her business that helps in placing, moving, and of course, deploying veterans in the right professions. For those of you who are planning to make a real estate move, how can you get in touch with Jason and myself? Real simple. Scan the QR codes that you see here. We will gladly start a conversation with you. And if necessary, if you just might be one of those families that love doing 2 to 3 major life events at the same time, selling a home, buying a home, making a career move, well, right here today, we got the people to help you.
Got a triple play, Bill.
we have a triple play. There you go. So, audience members, thank you for tuning into today's episode of Serving Veterans Who Served Us. And Debbie Jackson, as always, thank you for sharing your time as a recurring guest when I need you. That's so important. That's it for now, audience members. We will see you in the next episode 4 weeks out.
Thank you.